welcome to LNTV Week in Review. Today is Saturday, February 23, 2019. My name is Zokwe Beslokonen, anchoring this edition of the program. Let's take our top stories. President George Weah says his government is committed to cementing reconciliation with Liberian citizens. Chief Justice Francis Kokpo dismisses motion to recuse himself from ongoing impeachment saga. Monrovia City Corporation releases enumeration report in the country, and away from Liberia, the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Joseph Kabila, has made all the opposition leaders pledge their allegiance to him. These stories plus many other developments are all coming up in the program Week in Review. But first, we are taking a short break to be back with the faces of the newsmakers. Welcome back. During a Week in Review, President George Weah says his government is committed to cementing reconciliation with Liberians in a bid to promote national healing. Speaking in a BBC interview Tuesday, President Weah reiterated his government's commitment to prosecute anyone found guilty in the alleged $16 billion Liberian saga.
The news media in Liberia was saturated with stories alleging the containers of Liberian dollar imported by the central bank were missing. Given the gravity of the allegations, our administration took several actions in response, including setting up a special presidential technical committee to investigate. In addition, the government requested the assistance of the European Union, the African Union, the United States government, and the Economic Community of West African States, the ECOWAS.
At the same time, President Weah named the pavement of road in Claratown as one of his greatest achievements as President of Liberia.
Some did, I did, and declared the asset. You know, it's important that we declare our assets, most especially me.
But yours aren't published publicly, are they?
But that's my privacy. You know what I'm saying? I got kids to protect. I have my family to protect. So I give them access to all my banks, and they have to now protect me.
What about the rest of your ministers that haven't?
Most of them declare, and I hope that they all will declare.
Will you make them declare if they don't declare?
To make them declare? No, I mean, I inform them that they need to declare because it's prudent to do so. They know that there's law, we must abide by the law.
What about these missing $105 million worth of government money? It just disappeared last year inexplicably. Have you yet found out what's happened to it?
Well, what we're able to do is to bring in international partners and our local partners to work together. We are still waiting for the final results, and then when our results come in, we'll be able to let the public know what happened to that missing money.
It's an awful lot of money to go missing, isn't it?
No, but you know, sometimes you got to have facts. We are looking for the facts. If anyone is culpable, definitely they will face the full weight of the law.
This nation went through 14 awful years of war, which ended in 2003. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission recommended the establishment of a war crimes tribunal, but so far one hasn't been set up. Why?
Well, that's a good question. Why? People are hurt. There are people that have the scar on them. Some people are angry. We have to sit with them and let them go through the tough time and talk about how we can rehabilitate them.
President George Weah has also spoken of major achievements, including the pavement of feeder roads in the country.
For me, first of all, it's giving the community that I went so many years a paved road to see Claratown. It's one of the best achievements because I lived that life. To see that I have a school where I used to live, they have a free university to go to. This is what we are here for, me and my government.
You've got a very difficult job here. I was in one of the food markets in Monrovia, and a woman said to me, rice is now so expensive, I can't afford to buy it anymore. And I feel that by now prices should have come down because I voted for you.
I'm not a financial expert. What I try to do is to speak to those that import rice. And I spoke to them that the rice is expensive, so you need to lower your price. Then what we did was to bring in our own rice and then make it affordable for the market. But again, they found reason to keep their prices where it is.
What about unemployment?
Chief Justice Francis Kokpo has dismissed and denied motion to recuse himself from the ongoing impeachment trial of Associate Justice Kabina Jaine. Reading the final ruling Tuesday at the joint chambers of the National Legislature, Chief Justice Kokpo argued that the petitioners for his recusal did not establish clear legal backings for his recusal.
So, as I've said time and again, it is not by my own doing, but by the dictates of the Constitution of Liberia that I should preside over this impeachment proceeding. The Constitution does not say who presides over impeachment proceedings involving the President, Vice President, or an Associate Justice in the absence of the Chief Justice, or when the Chief Justice is incapacitated or disqualified. Thus, as I see it, for me to recuse myself from performing the constitutional duty of presiding over an impeachment proceeding as the movement has requested of me, the movement must clearly establish legal and or factual grounds that partake of conflict of interest that will work to the injury of the movement by my presiding over the impeachment proceeding.
At the same time, the Chief Justice said the Supreme Court had also dismissed previous motion for the recusal of Associate Justice Joseph Nangwe in the Kabina Jaine impeachment trial.
The movement has made reference to the case Kabina M. Jaine versus the House of Representatives decided November 30, 2018 during the October term of the Supreme Court, in which I delivered the majority opinion which passed on the issue of recusal. In that prohibition case filed by Justice Jaine, one of counsel for Justice Jaine requested Mr. Justice Joseph N. Nangwe, who had just been appointed to the Supreme Court bench, to recuse himself from the case. The counsel contended that since Justice Nangwe was a member of the House of Senate when the petition for the writ of prohibition was issued out of the Supreme Court to the House of Representatives, and since the members of the House of Representatives and the House of Senate are quote, colleagues, unquote, and Justice Nangwe was a member of the National Legislature of the Republic of Liberia at the time, the petitioner reasonably believed.
Public Works Minister Mambutu Yimpan says Liberia's relationship with the World Bank is at its highest peak, evidence of its ongoing assistance to national development in Liberia. According to him, there is substantial development taking place under this government as a result of the numerous assistance and contribution from the World Bank. He named the road project from Ganta to Zwedru and to Kelepo as some of the World Bank's financing assistance to Liberia. He spoke in an LNTV interview during the week.
Our relationship, and I'll say our relationship, I'm talking about the relationship of the government with the World Bank is at its highest peak. And I'm not just saying it because I want to use words, but because of the substantive development that is taking place with assistance from the World Bank. As we speak, the road from Ganta to Zwedru, beyond Zwedru to Kilipo, that I was just telling you about, the financing has been organized by the World Bank. And this is a significant development that That is a road that spans over 225 kilometers. The construction of that has been sealed.
How do you interpret it? It's being organized.
Oh, when I say it's being organized, there's of course the World Bank will guarantee funding for us to carry out the construction. The World Bank will also mobilize funding from other institutions to come on. But with the involvement of the World Bank, these institutions.
The newly inducted president of the Liberia Medical and Dental Association, Dr. Emmanuel Ekiyamba, says there is a need for a national health care roadmap. According to Dr. Ekiyamba, the plan is needed because health care delivery is not as free as many may project it to be. He also stated in clear terms that even though there has been some progress, doctors-to-patient ratio are still low. Dr. Emmanuel Ekiyaba made the disclosure during an installation and capacity fund-raising dinner recently held in Monrovia.
After a successful program with the IAN, as the Internal Audit Secretary, with huge savings everywhere, the 53 National Legislature enacted a law for what is today known as the Internal Audit Agency. The Internal Audit Agency, as the first line of defense against the fight for waste and abuse, was take a lead. It is because of this, Mr. President, immediately upon our firming, realized that we would not run this office in the 3-bedroom apartment, paying the cost equivalent to what is then paid to this new entity. We thought then and now that it was a waste and abuse of our limited resources. Mr. President, the people of Liberia elected you to steer the affairs of the states. In your wisdom, you selected competent sons and daughters of the land to assist you in the discharge of that responsibility.
Meanwhile, serving as Chief Launcher, the Director General of the National Public Health Institute of Liberia, Tobot Yenswa, says health care delivery should be taken seriously and not against us. He spoke when he gave $1,000 to the Dental Association as Chief Launcher.
We should not look at healthcare in Liberia as they against us or us against them. We have to approach it holistically. And medicine and public health are inseparable, very much inseparable. If we talk about population health and giving family planning to a young girl that desires family planning, you're reducing deaths and complications due to maternal issue, because when you're not pregnant, you can never die from pregnancy or causes of pregnancy. If you deliver clean water to the community, water, sanitation, and hygiene, you also done something to prevent waterborne diseases that will end up in JFK or Jackson Airport or some of our clinics around the country. When you provide vaccines to kids, you prevent vaccine-preventable diseases, the measles.
just joined us, this is a reminder that you are watching LNTV Week in Review, where we look at major stories that made headlines during the week. It's Saturday, February 23, 2019. My name is Zokwe Beslokonen, anchoring this edition of the program Week in Review. Let's take a relook at our headlines. President George Manawia says his government is committed to cementing reconciliation with Liberians. Chief Justice Francis Kokpo dismisses motion to recuse himself from ongoing impeachment saga. Monrovia City Corporation releases enumeration report in the country. And away from Liberia, the President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Joseph Kabila, has made all the leaders of the coalition pledge their allegiance to him. LNTV Week in Review takes a short break to be back with more developments. Welcome back to the program Week in Review. Motivational speaker Reverend Luther Tape has called for a national youth orientation across the country. According to him, such conference will help educate young people to desist from continuous negative vices which have the propensity to derail the peace currently being enjoyed by the population. He spoke recently in an interview with the station during the week.
The young people themselves need to have one thing that is lacking in this generation, and I will throw that, I will just appeal to the Ministry of Education. Are we doing civic? Are we doing civic in the schools where citizens' duty are highlighted, where people are able to have the ability to judge man action and the things that I do? How do that jeopardize the future of my nation? How do I protect the peace of my country, even if I don't agree with what is happening? And I think that is lacking in our schools. So it makes the young people very vulnerable. So anything that's coming out, don't forget the background, the recent background we come from. It's a violent background where civil war has broken down every set of value. And so this emerging generation needs to have more civic knowledge, civic way of handling things. And government also, on the other hand, needs to understand that when people raise issues, these are cardinal things that are of urgent matters to them, and they must also learn to address them accordingly if they should, okay? And not just brush them under the carpet. Because democracy, for it to work, is a responsibility of both government and the citizen. And so I believe that some politicians will exploit the young people, but the young people too need to have understanding of civil responsibility.
Independent National Commission on Human Rights Acting Chairman Bartholomew Cole wants participants during a two-day working session to develop a plan that will reflect on the specifics of human rights. He spoke during a week in Monrovia at a two-day working session with the Independent National Commission on Human Rights and civil society organizations on their engagement with government.
It is our anticipation from the Commission that all access to hands-on will be focused, and that this will be community-owned process, national-owned process that will be supported by the partners with our commitment, so that we deliver best practices to the people of this country. All of us, not just at government, but also at the international partners and CSO, that we will show commitment and do what is right with our
World Presidential Team on the mudslide disaster in Gbanin-PA, Lower Nimba County, has released initial report on the disaster, disclosing that the total number of people trapped in the incident are still unknown. However, about 40 people have been pronounced dead so far, according to the Executive Director of the National Disaster Management Agency, Henry Williams. The area has been illegally operated. As such, getting information is a huge challenge for them. He said the area has now been declared an emergency zone as security personnel have put in place stringent measures before entry. Mr. Williams spoke at the Ministry of Information regular press briefing during a week in Monrovia.
We have done some other interventions, like for instance the area is without toilets, and even the hand pumps in the entire vicinity we only have 5 pumps, but we have treated them, the 5 pumps, and as we are going, other issues are coming out. For instance, we have treated 25 persons, emergency treatment, they got ill in the area, and they are treated 22. We are also offering psychosocial counseling, and some health promotion is going on, and also waste management mechanisms are being put in place as there are no latrines in that area. So this is very great.
4 collaborating opposition parties have signed a commitment under the theme Solidifying Our Democracy, a bold step towards successful collaboration. The agreement brought together the Unity Party, Liberty Party, Alternative National Congress, and the All-Liberian Party. The political leader of Liberty Party, Senator Yumli Kanga Lawrence, first began by providing an overview of the mission of the collaborating parties during a week.
As the day conscious-minded leaders of Liberia finally made a decision to think beyond self, think beyond party lines, think beyond ambition, and think collectively with one goal, which is Liberia beyond self. In June 2018, 3 opposition political parties, the Unity Party, the Liberty Party, the Alternative National Congress, started a conversation centered on addressing the greatest need of our country, which is leadership. Liberia has a huge leadership deficiency because great leaders with the same ideology and qualification have over the years been divided over political lines. In furtherance of our commitment, we agreed to speak with one voice on issues affecting Liberia, the social, economic, and political well-being of our people, and creating awareness for good governance.
Meanwhile, reading a full statement on behalf of the parties, ALP political leader Benena Yure said this collaboration is an affirmation of their commitment to promoting democracy.
As we will do today by the signing of this statement, we are soliciting the help of our people by the insistence of our continuation of this collaboration. We as a people must ensure that our political leaders put the interests of this country and the people of Liberia paramount to that of theirs. This collaboration is a further affirmation of our commitment to democracy and must be seen in that light by every one of us. Collectively, we represent 62% of the dedicated and patriotic people of this nation, as reflected in the November 2017 election results. This strength, which is increasing in bonds, must not be allowed to wither and dissipate along separate paths as we have pursued theretofore.
At the same time, former Vice President and political leader of the Unity Party, Ambassador Joseph Boyka, says the opposition will continue to remain responsible in their criticism of the government.
To act in a responsible way and to give the government and the country a chance to settle down and adjust. The 2017 elections were bruising and contentious. The country needed time to... We needed to reflect and to return to building our lives in our beloved country. You will bear witness to our activities as well as our appearances at public functions. We have endeavored to demonstrate our goodwill to this event, which we have endured rebuke from some of our supporters and supporters. However, as leaders, we are convinced we must set the tune.
The Director General of the Center for National Documents and Records Agency, C. Neile Detua, says there is a need to immediately address the condition of government's deplorable records condition. A recent survey conducted by the agency-trained employees showed that about 15 government line ministries and agencies do not have good records system. The National Archive Boss spoke during a week at the Monrovia City Corporation. Meanwhile, the Archive Boss unveiled plans by the agency to help address the situation by revamping the system to a modern one to ensure that it gets on par with other regional counterparts.
County outside of Mosharado County from a window at the service center for which Central is unable to provide full service delivery to our people in those parts of the country. In view of this development, as we are part of our administration plan to fully decentralize programs and activities of Central in the 14 counties and to complement President Blair's developmental drive, we have established a project and program office at Central, which is doing very well with project proposal for modernization of archives and decentralization through the construction of local archive center in 14 counties of Liberia, which shall be comprised of special presidential library, adult and children library, customer service, exhibition room, repository for preservation of vital records, and several offices to accommodate all services rendered to the Liberian people by Central in each of the county. Ladies and gentlemen, our administration is presently working with the Japanese Grant Assistance for Graduate Human Security Project, GGHGP, which is a Japanese NGO with offices in Ghana, at the Embassy of Japan for the construction of local ACA center in the country of Liberia through Liberia NGO, and we have signed memorandum of understanding with a non-local, not-for-profit organization, Liberia NGO.
The Monrovia City Corporation, MCC, Tuesday during a week, released preliminary reports on an ongoing enumeration process in Montserrat County. The report was released by Monrovia City Mayor Jefferson Korji at a news conference in Monrovia.
A few months ago, we were here in the same hall presenting to you that we have contracted through a comparative process a local company called the ATS All Terrain Management. There was a rigorous project where a bid was being given, and they were very successful. They proved that they've got the capacity to conduct the tax that we wanted, and we went through the process. PPCC were able to certify and no objection to them. And on the basis of that, they commenced their tax given to them. And like we said to you, Monrovia is currently situated within 10 districts. So today we are here. They have completed 4 districts, which constitute 36,000 structure. 36,000 structure. So, and subsequently, they will be completing the remaining 6 districts. They are the verge of completion, but because of the the importance and the urgency of what we have given them, we thought it was important to brief the public as we make achievement along the way side. So today we are here to commend the Liberian people for your cooperation. First, when we started, there was an attempt to deceive our people, but since we spoke to them, the people for on the field, specifically working for all terrain management, they have reported to us that since our engagement to the public has been very receptive.
President George Weah has constituted a committee to find a safe and peaceful solution to the Fendale land saga. In a letter from the Executive Mansion, the Executive Director of the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission, LRRC, Reverend Festus Logan, is to liaise with the Liberia Media for Democratic Initiatives to ensure a solution that would guarantee safety and dignity for the affected persons. In a meeting recently at the LMDR headquarters near Carisburg, the LRRC and LMDR agreed to collaborate in finding a solution to the situation. They are to ensure quick and dignified redress to the thousands of affected persons. It can be recalled recently President George Weah apologized to those affected and agreed to negotiate an amicable settlement. President Weah's decision comes following a sustained advocacy by the Executive Director of the LMDR, John Colley, and team. Land dispute between 2 towns in Grand Cape Mount County is said to be intensifying. The 2 towns, Masaka and Sano in Tewa District, are claiming ownership of the land. Our correspondent said tension started to brew when one of the parties decided to carry out cultivation. Our correspondent said the disputed land situated in Masaka was turned over to an old man in 1959. The land was formally turned over to one Nancy, passed away in 1979 to manage the farmland. Our correspondent said peace have existed between the residents of the 2 towns until Wednesday when the land issue brought the conflict. Well, let's now take you to our foreign development. Displaced people in northeast Nigeria are said to be transported through a dangerous conflict zone ahead of the country's elections. The transportation for the displaced people is an operation agreed by the main political parties. The BBC has reported that unescorted convoys were organized with the agreement of the ruling All People's Congress, the main opposition, People's Democratic Party, PDP, and the Independent National, that's the Nigerian Election Commission. Several thousand displaced people are believed to have been moved back to their home areas temporarily in order to vote. Nigerians are today voting in that western region. And reports say a Tanzanian court has sentenced Yang Fenglan, a prominent Chinese businesswoman called the Ivory Queen, to 15 years in jail. Madame Fenglan has been accused of leading one of Africa's biggest ivory smuggling rings, illegally exporting more than $2.5 million US worth of elephant tusks to East Asia. But the charges, the BBC says, she has since denied. Madame Fenglan was arrested after a high-speed car chase in October 2015 and charged with ivory smuggling between 2000 and 2014. Investigators say she was a key link between pushers in East Africa and buyers in China for more than a decade. Well, this is how we come to the end of the program, LNTV Week in Review. But before we take a leave of you, let's now recap our top stories. President George Manuia says his government is committed to cementing reconciliation with Liberian citizens. Chief Justice Francis Kokor dismisses motion to recuse himself from ongoing impeachment saga. Monrovia City Corporation releases enumeration reports in the country, and of the home front, President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Joseph Kabila, has made all the leaders of the coalition pledge their allegiance to him. This is how we come to the end of the program, LNTV Week in Review. Week in Review is where we look at major news that made headlines during the week in the country. This program comes on every Saturday at 7 p.m. Many thanks to you all for your viewing role. Many thanks to all of our reporters, correspondents, technicians, socials, and editors for making this package a success. On behalf of the entire team, my name is Zokwe Beslokonen. I've been anchoring the program. See you next Saturday. Bye-bye for now.
"2019 is a year of lots of goodies. LNTV presents the Week in Review, a 45-minute news program that features all of the happenings of the week. This program is packaged exclusively to fill you in with information you may have missed out on during the week. Join us live on LNTV every The Liberia Institute of Public Administration is the premier center of excellence in capacity building and development for sustained quality service delivery.
What I envision right now is more of capacity development where we can expand skill set and expertise to have organizational development.
LIPA now offers long-term professional development courses with 4 quarters each, covering 2 semesters for first-degree entry requirements in public procurement management, project planning and management, internal audit and control,